May 2000. Millions of people around the world open their email. The subject line reads, ILOVEYOU. The message seems simple, innocent, even. But what happened next would go down in history as one of the most destructive cyber attacks ever seen, infecting tens of millions of computers in just a few hours, costing billions, and changing the way the Internet handles security forever. This is the story of the ILOVEYOU virus, the bug that broke the Internet. The late 1990s and early 2000s were a time of optimism. The dot-com boom was in full swing, personal computers were becoming affordable, and email was quickly becoming the dominant form of communication. But cybersecurity was still in its infancy. Most users had no antivirus software, and email attachments were trusted. After all, who would want to hurt your computer? The world was connected, but defenses were weak. This was the perfect storm for a disaster. ILOVEYOU wasn't created by a supervillain in a Hollywood basement. It came from Manila, Philippines. The creator, Ronald de Guzman, was a computer science student who allegedly wrote the code as part of a thesis about credit card theft and Internet security. The thesis was rejected by his school for being too unethical, but the code was later adapted into what would become the world's most famous computer worm. The worm was written in VB script, a scripting language built into Windows at the time. The brilliance and danger of ILOVEYOU was its simplicity. The email carried an attachment named Love-Letter-For-You.Txt.Vbs. To most users, this looked like a harmless text file. They didn't notice the hidden .vbs extension. The moment they clicked it, the code executed automatically. Once activated, ILOVEYOU did two things. It overwrote many types of files, images, music, even system files, effectively destroying data. But more importantly, it sent copies of itself to every contact in the victim's Microsoft Outlook address book. This one feature turned it into a digital pandemic. Within hours of its release on May 4, 2000, ILOVEYOU had spread across Asia, Europe, and the United States. Email servers at major corporations crashed under the flood of outgoing mail. By some estimates, over 45 million computers were infected in just the first day. Governments, corporations, and individuals were all caught off guard. Businesses shut down email systems completely to stop the spread. The Pentagon, the CIA, and even the British Parliament had to disconnect their email networks. The damage wasn't just digital, it was financial. Estimates put the total cost between $5 billion and $10 billion, including lost productivity, data recovery, and system repairs. For many, it was the first time they truly realized how vulnerable the digital world could be. Authorities quickly traced the origin of the worm back to the Philippines. Within days, police raided the apartment of Ronald de Guzman and his classmates. They found evidence linking him to the virus, but here's the twist. At the time, there were no Philippine laws against creating malware. As a result, no one was ever successfully prosecuted for unleashing ILOVEYOU. This legal loophole shocked the world and sparked conversations about international cybercrime laws. Many countries rushed to pass legislation criminalizing malware development and distribution. In a way, ILOVEYOU didn't just crash computers, it reshaped global cybersecurity policy. ILOVEYOU was successful not just because of its code, but because it exploited human psychology. The subject line, ILOVEYOU, was irresistible. Curiosity, excitement, and even loneliness made people click. This marked the beginning of what cybersecurity experts now call social engineering, hacking the human, not the machine. Its use of Outlook's contact list was also ingenious. People trusted email from friends and colleagues, so the infection spread faster than any previous virus. It was a perfect storm of technical vulnerability and human nature. The aftermath of ILOVEYOU permanently changed the way we handle email. Microsoft quickly patched Windows to make file extensions more visible, reducing the risk of hidden scripts. Companies invested heavily in antivirus software, firewalls, and spam filters. Users were taught a new rule: never open suspicious attachments. ILOVEYOU also inspired copycats. Similar worms like Anna Kournikova, Melissa, and later My Doom all used social engineering to spread. The age of mass mailing worms had begun, and it wouldn't stop for years. Looking back from 2025, the ILOVEYOU worm feels like the digital world's first real wake-up call. Today, we face ransomware attacks, phishing campaigns, and AI-generated scams, threats far more advanced than what we saw in 2000. But the principles are the same. Attackers exploit trust, curiosity, and weak security. The difference is, now we know to expect it, and we have an entire industry dedicated to fighting back. In the end, ILOVEYOU was more than just a virus. It was a moment in history, the day the world learned that love, or at least the word love, could bring down the internet. Its impact is still felt today in every email warning, every phishing filter, every cybersecurity lecture. The ILOVEYOU virus reminds us of a simple truth. Technology connects us, but it also exposes us. And as long as we remain curious, emotional, and human, there will always be someone, somewhere, trying to turn that into an opportunity. This was the story of ILOVEYOU, the virus that taught the world to be careful when someone says they love you, especially by email.